Yeah. So, hey, we're going to get started. So, I just wanted to welcome everybody. I'm super glad that you're all here and you found us virtually. My name is John Torres. I'm the Director of Community Care here at City Ministry Network. And we just wanted to welcome you all here to our once a month meeting called Catalyst. And this is a gathering of Modesto area leaders and influencers. We have a couple topics we wanted to go over to get us started this morning. So first, some online meeting etiquette. I think you might have noticed we might have muted you all. So we only did that so that we can kind of continue forward and go through. We love your conversation and we're not trying to shut you up, but we just need to get this baby moving. So please understand that we still love you. Now, the cool thing about that is if you go to the bottom of your screen, you take your mouse or whatever, or maybe your cell phone, on the bottom of your screen, there's going to be a little button there that says chat. Your toolbar will come up on the bottom there and it'll say chat. So if you want to continue chatting with each other, you can find someone's name and click it and then type them a note or type them a little message. But make sure you click their name, because if you're talking crap about somebody and it says everybody's going to see it. So you better watch yourself there. No, I'm just kidding. So if it says everybody, it goes to everyone. If it just says one name, it just goes to them. So please utilize that. We're going to use more of that throughout the rest of this meeting. Also, we are recording this morning, so don't do anything you don't want people to see forever. All right, make sure you did your hair or whatever, because you're going to be recorded and it's going forever. We can't. Yeah, that's right. You're looking good. I was like, you're looking good. So make sure that's going on. And if you have some issues, I'm just kidding. If I start to break up like that, if the video freezes or something of that nature, take your laptop or your cell phone and get closer to your modem where your internet connection is, and that might help alleviate that. Lastly, with the online meeting etiquette, hey, if you could just show us some grace. We are learning as we're going. We're trying new things, and we want to keep these things exciting. I know all of us have been on Zoom calls, and so sometimes these get just overwhelming, and there's just so many of them. So we're just trying some new things to keep it fresh and live. So please show us some grace. We're trying some new things too. Okay, lastly, you Facebookers, Instagrammers, Twitterers, if you would check into those social media platforms for us, that would be amazing. Go ahead and do that and let them know that you're here, let your friends know you're here, or even go to City Ministry Network's Facebook page and like us there and check in. And then just let those let your friends and your followers know where you're at, and maybe they'll come and join us and be a part. We got some exciting stuff this morning. So Catalyst is a place of community connections that matter. Now, our hope is that you will connect with one another and share your vision and your passion, and then begin to build trust with one another and collaborate together to impact our community in some sort of way. And so that's the main purpose for Catalyst. And so we found this to be important. We wanted to continue doing this. And there's so many people on the call right now or on this Zoom meeting. It's really awesome to see you guys. And so I just want to make sure you understand what we're trying to do here with Catalyst. Now, next here, we've got a little video from our fearless leader, Marvin. And so we would love to just share that with you guys. So go ahead and click that for us, Mike, and it'll start there.
Hi, I'm Marvin Jacobo from City Ministry Network. And I've spent a long time wondering, why is it that some communities that look the same, whether it's socioeconomic, the social makeup of the community, why do some communities thrive and rebound much quicker than others that face the same challenge? What is it about those communities? I had an opportunity in 2006 to visit New Orleans, and I began to wander the neighborhoods. I wanted to know where the hard neighborhoods are, what neighborhoods were thriving and which ones were not thriving. And I began to ask myself the question, and the person that was driving us around, why is this ward thriving and this other ward just sitting dormant and growing weeds and still in devastation? What was the difference? And the difference was social capital. The trust relationships between the neighbors, the trust relationships between the neighborhood, the community, the government, the nonprofits. It was the social capital that caused these and allowed these neighborhoods to thrive and these towns to thrive and rebound much quicker than some others. So keeping that experience in mind and wondering, why is it that some communities rebound faster than others? We all want to come out of this COVID-19 season stronger than when we entered it. I want to talk to leaders, influencers, those in our community. And that means all of us, because all of us are leaders. All of us have influence. Moms, dads, children, all of us are leaders. The question I've been asking myself daily is, how am I to respond as a leader? When circumstances are changing daily, even hourly, here are a few broader principles that author Carey Nieuwhof has helped me with. And I want to encourage all of you with them this morning. First thing is to practice leadership, not reactionship. Our job as leaders isn't just to react to what's happening, it's to lead people in light of what's happening. We need to embrace sacrifice, not selfishness. Sadly, I've been disappointed in the selfishness that many are displaying. One writer wrote, "Your selfishness might cost me my life." And I want to remind myself that the early church wasn't known for stockpiling ample food and supplies for themselves and spreading fear in the community. They freely gave to others. And the sacrifice you show as a leader will bring out the sacrifice in others. Gather wise counsel to check your natural instincts. Get the smartest and most informed people you know with actual experience in healthcare or whatever you need, and let them advise you. Look for opportunity in the midst of all the trauma. Leaders find opportunity where others see obstacles. Men and women, there are opportunities here to help your city and your county. In a moment where people are obsessed with themselves, look for new ways to serve others. Broker hope and deepen trust. One way or another, this crisis will pass. It's no time to expend energy throwing rocks at our leaders. Be assured a time of evaluation and reflection will come. If you and I practice humble, sensible servant leadership during this time, you'll have so much trust with the people you lead that the future will indeed be much greater than the past, and we will bounce back quickly. Let's come out of this COVID-19 season stronger than when we entered it. We're in this all together. There's no one else. Stanislaus County, a great place to grow up in and to grow old in. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin, for, yeah, look at that. You're getting applause. I think everybody stood up and applauded you. So, no, that's great. I appreciate the informative words on leadership. We need that kind of stuff. So if you want, we have some more videos for you guys. So on City Ministry Network's Facebook page, you can find them there, or you can go to Catalyst Modesto on YouTube. So Catalyst Modesto on YouTube, and you can see some other videos. All right, now, here is what we're going to do. I have a little trivia game for us. So we want to get you guys better at using your chat, your little toolbar on the bottom and chatting in. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to spend a little time, and I want to ask some questions, and I'm going to celebrate the people that give me some answers. All right, so get your fingers ready, or your thumbs. I'm not sure if you're on your cell phones or not. Find your chat little bar there. If you haven't found it yet, well, you're a lost cause. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. We love you. Find it, look for it. We want to hear from you. All right, so here's your first question. The first question is, which chess piece makes an L-shaped move on a chess board? Oh, look at that. Scott, nice job. Aaron, good job. Pete, you are wrong, but still, way to check in. Love our neighbors. Good job not knowing. Thanks for answering. The rook is not right. It's actually the knight. Leah, nice try. Courtney, good job. Jonathan, good job. Mike, Robinson, good job. Pete, good face. I like the face. Doris, good job. Cindy Marks, good job. Except I don't know what a knot is. I think you might have missed the I and the O, but that's fine. Maybe you're playing a different chess game than I am. All right, here's the next question. Good job, everybody. It looks like you got it. All right, all right. All right, let me see. Let me go to the next question. Here we go. The next question is, oh no, I lost my questions. There they are. Here we go. The next question is, what four-letter word describes an arena for public roller skating? All right, bring it. Oh man, that's like you knew my question before I was gonna ask it. Holy mackerel, you guys are killing it. So far, everybody's right. Sabala, nice answer. Joe Duran, that's great, I love it. Isaiah, Carlos, I don't think that's right, but we'll take it. Doug, I like the change from ring to ring. Good job, you guys are killing it. All right, one more. Let's do maybe a couple more here. One more, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. All right. What ice cream chain once sold a ketchup flavored ice cream? Ben and Jerry's. Leah, a nice guess. That's wrong. Yes, Jenny, I agree. You. Baskin Robbins. Good job, Jonathan. Duran's Playground. I'm not sure if they serve ice cream there. I wouldn't try any of that ice cream, but good question or good answer there, Jose. It's yes, Baskin Robbins. 31 flavors we would also take. Pete, not 32. I don't know. 32 flavors is over in the hood. That they call that 32 flavors. 31 flavors is over here on the north side. So no, I'm just kidding. City Marks, no clue. It's all right. They got the answer for you. Mitchell's ice cream. Efren, I don't even know what that is, but it sounds delicious. And yes, Carlos, that is disgusting. All right, you guys are killing it. Good job. All right, do we have time for one more? What time is it? No, we don't. All right, well, hey, it looks like you guys figured it out. You found it out. Good job. Some of you that didn't answer, hey, I'm sorry about that. Next time, just maybe use snail mail. You can write me a letter and send it postage, and we'll get you squared away. I don't know why they asked me to host these things. I'm ridiculous. All right, so next up. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but our theme for today, our title for today was From Crisis to Creativity. And so today we want to hear about creativity that comes out of crisis. Now, when faced with crisis, some people, organizations try to figure out how to survive or just take care of themselves, but some become creative and rise up to take on some of the aspects of the crisis. So we're going to hear this morning from 3 organizations that have had to adapt or pivot because of the crisis that we're in, COVID-19 crisis. So we want you to listen to how and why they adapted. Now, these interviews were pre-recorded, so it's going to be, we're going to have 3 different interviews that are recorded, but the cool thing is each of them are actually here in this call. So what we're going to do is we're going to break it up in 3 parts. The first part's going to be about 5 minutes. And then after that, we're going to allow you some time to ask some questions, and that's where that chat bar, wherever it's at, is going to be helpful for you, okay? And so you can ask your question, and we might get a lot of questions, so I might not get to all of them, but we're going to try our best to get as many as we can out to them. So, Mike, if you want to start our first video, we're going to hear from Gloria Medlin from Love Our Neighbors.
So why don't you introduce yourself and the organization that you work with a little bit here?
Okay. So my name is Gloria Medlin, and I work for Love Our Neighbors. I'm the director. I'm fairly new to Modesto. I moved here about 2 years ago, but I was connected with Love Modesto before I moved here through an organization that did a similar volunteer event. Kind of how Love Our Neighbors came about, that we wanted to provide a way, kind of be a one-stop shop for volunteering. And we like to say that we want to be the Airbnb of volunteering, because we match volunteers with where the needs are.
Tell me about one of the challenges that came to light for Love Our Neighbors that you guys felt like you needed to step up to, respond to, engage because of the coronavirus.
Okay, so we had started attending meetings that included folks from the county, from United Way, from the faith community, to talk about the issues of Corona-19. And this was in the early days, I'd say like the second week in March. And within a few days, we were meeting daily, and within a few days we knew that something needed to be done. And we had the technology and the ability to really kind of expand what we were doing to meet this need. So it was a matter of changing our website, built the request forms, built the database that contained the volunteers, the people that needed help, and all the food providers. And so then we were using that database to match the need with the providers, and then a volunteer to do the pickup and delivery. The next step was getting the large signs out. So we do the large signs for Love Modesto event, and we thought, well, we're not doing Love Modesto, let's do large signs for Love Our Neighbors. And so those went up within a week. And so the word started getting out. And we also realized that we could not handle the volume ourselves. So we started kind of reaching out to people we knew might be good at this sort of a thing. It's really case working. You're working with a person in need and helping them navigate through getting food delivered or groceries picked up. So we started doing training via Zoom for volunteers. Then we had a call center. So we had a call center up and running every day. And then, we saw the need of, with all the kids being out of school and the parents having to homeschool and not having experience with that they needed help as well. Love Our Schools. And so this was kind of an ideal time to let's birth this one. And it's a website that matches retired educators and school counselors and matches them with parents that need help with tutoring their kids or with just, talking school counselor type of topics. So that one has also been born out of this too. So we've been busy.
Yeah, sounds like it. What have you seen as some of the practical outcome of your work? How has this impacted individuals?
Wow, there's so many. I think the biggest impact has been to the seniors, the senior citizens of our county. We have a Cub Scout troop in Oakdale that delivers prepared meals to seniors and vets throughout the county, and they kind of do it in Turlock. So that kind of partnership with Turlock and Modesto has been amazing. But what's come out of that is that the seniors see the kids in their uniforms, and they talk about, I was an Eagle Scout, and they talk about their own experience with it, and the kids and the parents, just they are blessed by being there for them, because they can tell that they just want to talk. They are lonely, they're alone, they're isolating. So they get to be that face and just kind of bring them a little bit of joy in the midst of all of this craziness. We've received, I have this letter from another senior, this little card that she wrote, a thank you card that said, your organization made the sun shine bright in my life, knowing that there's people that do care. So just the fact that people know that someone is out there that cares, we are blessed by that. And I think that's the heart behind all of this. We have over 500 volunteers that signed up to help that are so hungry to do something and help. And so that has just been amazing. We have people that are constantly calling and bugging and saying, hey, when's my next delivery? When can I do this again? And so, yeah, we're seeing just a lot of really, really good things coming out of this.
Can people still continue to volunteer with you?
People can continue to connect on our website, loveourneighbors.org, and on the Give Help button, and you become part of our network of volunteers.
That's awesome. My wife actually got to help with the call center on that, and it looks like Leah did as well. And one of the cool things we saw was neighbors, they live just around the corner from each other. They got to love on each other and now have become friends, and they check in with each other. So really cool. All right, let's see if we have some questions here. Looks like Joe asks, how active is your website? So are you in there, Gloria?
I am. Yes, I'm here.
So how active is your website?
So I'm sorry you asked that question because I don't have an answer. I do know that our website hits have gone dramatically higher than they were prior to COVID, but I don't have the statistics on that.
Okay. So the next question for you, Gloria, was do you offer other languages with Love Our Neighbors?
So yes, as a matter of fact, as we started diving into this, we realized that we were not addressing the Spanish-speaking community. So we created the forms online in Spanish, and we had call center people available that spoke Spanish.
Okay, awesome, great.
Yeah.
Another question here: what locations do you help? Do you just help Modesto, or?
So Love Our Neighbors is a county-wide initiative. So we have been serving all of Stanislaus County, and it has actually expanded into San Joaquin County as well. They needed some help, and we had the means to help them. We've partnered with Catholic Charities, who makes the deliveries in San Joaquin County. So it has expanded.
Awesome, that's great. Well, I think we're gonna cut the questions there. If you guys have more questions for Gloria, I'm sure you can reach her at loveourneighbors.org.
Org, yes, loveourneighbors.org.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Or you can email me at gloria@loveourneighbors.org.
Gloria@loveourneighbors.org. Actually, Gloria, if you want to type that in the chat, that would be awesome, so people can pick that up. Hey, thanks so much, Gloria. Appreciate your input. So we have our next video coming up here, and this is my homeboy, Joe Duran. He's with us at City Ministry Network. So we'll start that video here in a second.
My name is Joe Duran. I am currently working as a Chief Financial Officer for City Ministry Network after just recently retiring from Self-Help Federal Credit Union, where I was employed for 35 years. So I went into semi-retirement, and I'm getting to do what I love to do. I think one of the challenges for sure is when the government made the decision to allocate the stimulus dollars to businesses to keep them hopefully afloat during this time. But operationally, how is that going to happen? How are they going to make it work? So with that in mind, we as City Ministry Network kind of took a look at and began to identify those organizations that were going to potentially be able to give technical assistance to small businesses and those that would qualify. We then formally actually became a resource for the local community in that vein.
How did you step up to engage this challenge?
It just seemed to me and to us that there's going to be a real void in those individuals, specifically lower income businesses that maybe didn't have a banking relationship, and or if nonprofits were going to be involved, how that all was going to work. One of the things that the stimulus package did is gave almost all the authority and oversight to it to the SBA. And the SBA came up with the delivery channel of using banks to have applications come in. The dilemma in our mind, in our leadership team's mind, was that what happens again if you don't have a banking relationship? Or, in this other instance, are nonprofits included in that? And the answer to that, we found out, was that nonprofits were included in the stimulus payroll protection plan, but there was no technical assistance that was available to them here locally. And so that became an immediate niche. We were fortunate to hire a really gifted a young attorney who came on staff with us to help me kind of sort through that. And then the other thing that we discovered was that if you were not a customer of a certain bank, generally you were not going to be allowed to utilize them. So being proactive, and again, and fortunately having my relationship in the banking industry, specifically with credit unions, we were able to go out to Self-Help Federal Credit Union, which is a credit union I helped to run for 30-something years, and as well as a local credit union called Valley First Credit Union. And we're able to work with them so that we could bring in groups or businesses that did not have access to be able to sign up for the funding. We were able to step by step take them all the way from the beginning process of determining if they would be eligible to actually helping them fill out and obtain all the documentation that was needed in order for them to submit. You know, I'm really glad and proud to say that we were able to help over 20 businesses not only apply, but get qualified for it.
Why did you step in, feel the responsibility to meet this need or help meet the need?
Well, one of the visions and missions of City Ministry Network is again to really try to be as insightful to what's happening to the needs of the local community, specifically what we would call the underserved community. This is something I've been passionate about for the last 35 plus years. This is what I've been doing vocationally. And it's also a calling in my life that I'm able to exercise through, being a part of City Ministry Network.
Well, thanks, Joe. We appreciate your leadership and your effort in this. And there have been businesses that really have been helped, individuals who have been helped because of what you've done. So thank you.
Great, thanks, Joe. There's 4 hours of footage that we had to cut through because Joe likes to talk, but no, I'm just kidding. No, that's good stuff. Let's see if we have any questions here. Might have answered all their questions, Joe. I don't see any questions here. All right, how many nonprofits have been helped, Joe?
Can you see me? Or
I can't see you, but I can hear you.
okay, why isn't? Okay, hang on, just a second. There we go.
Hey,
Thanks. Yeah, how many nonprofits? Since we taped that, I don't even know when we taped that. Seems like eons ago. I believe we are over 35 that we've been helping, but nonprofits specifically, at least a dozen.
Okay.
Yeah, and the ones that we were able to help range from very, very small, obviously, to some fairly larger ones. And then also, I think one thing that was really important was there wasn't information that was out there, especially with the small nonprofits, especially with some of the small businesses in particular. I mean, they're such small shops that they don't have an accountant or, they don't have people to help them from a technical perspective. So really come alongside them and letting them know, number one, that they could apply. And then number two, actually stepping them through and getting them approved. I can think of one small business. It's not actually small, ended up being a little bit bigger, but a restaurant with many, many different locations here in our community that got lost in the shuffle, unfortunately, with one of the larger banks. And they were going to basically be out, and we got information from them. They contacted us. We got information, submitted it to Valley First, and literally 25 hours later, they had a check.
Oh, that's
so
great.
Yeah, so it was really cool based on the work that some of our staff were able to do, and obviously just working in coordination with Valley First and also with Self-Help. So
That's great. Hey, I got a question from Jose. What's going to happen to those businesses who didn't receive help?
Well, I mean, we're still really working on trying to get as much information out to our local community. There's still monies that are available. We're finding that some of the larger businesses, many of the larger businesses, and large business was considered anything under 500 employees, I think. I'm sorry, small business. For example, like the LA Lakers and Harvard both applied and got millions of dollars. And so they ended up getting the money back, based on some negative press and some others. And so there's still some money that's lingering out there. And so we're still encouraging people to apply. Also, we believe potentially there's going to be another round. And so we really want people to go to SBDC, specifically if you're a business, if you're a nonprofit, we're here to help you in that area. We're able to help direct you to, to those places. If you don't have a banking relationship, that was really key, I think, for us, is basically determining that, at first, some of the banks were taking some others, but as things began to ramp up, they, some of them couldn't because they just didn't have the capacity. So they began to prioritize, their own customers, and they weren't taking anybody on. So that left individuals that didn't have banking relationships specifically, Yeah. And so we're able to get them in.
Cool. Hey, so there was a couple more questions, if you don't mind looking in the chat to try to answer those. The other thing, Joe, would be nice is if there's maybe some people out there that have more questions, maybe you can you can type in the chat who you'd like them to connect with, whether it's you, Jess, or Carlos. And that way we could be helpful to people out there that might be needing some help.
So we've been able to generate close to $1 million back, to businesses, through coordination with the credit unions, and also churches too. And so that's the other thing. So in the nonprofits, so churches were available to utilize this program, and we did see many churches apply. Some of them were able to just do that on their own. Others we did help. We especially helped some smaller churches and some smaller nonprofits. There is a dance troupe, a Mexican American dance troupe, small dance troupe, that has been doing phenomenal work in our community culturally, and we were able to get them the funding that they needed. So there were some really cool things that were happening.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, if you want to, there's the chat thing. Well, I got to go to the next person. Thanks, Joe, so much, Joe. Appreciate you, man. But if you want to type in those questions or those answers, that'd be great. So, hey, we're going to move on. Thanks again, Joe. You killed it, man. We appreciate you. So next up is we've got some young ladies, Tessa, Angie, and McKenna, and their little organization, they've called the Two Chicks Supper Club. So we're going to hear a video from them right now.
I'm going to start by just asking you each to introduce yourself. So tell us a little bit about who you are, your name, maybe what grade you're in, but just let us know who you are.
I'll start. My name is McKenna Doherty. I'm a junior at St. Mary's High School. I am a member of this club. I'm the treasurer, and yeah.
I'm Angelina Dentoni. I go to St. Mary's too, and I'm a junior also, and I'm one of the founders of this club.
I'm Tessa Gallo. I'm also a junior, but I go to Central Catholic High School, and I'm also a founder with Angie.
Okay, excellent. So if I understand it right, you guys actually have a nonprofit that was in existence before, and you had to morph it into what you're doing right now?
Like, our vision for it was to help childhood cancer and donate blankets that we would make to them, but we decided that we should probably hold that off since the coronavirus started, because we didn't think it was a good idea to go to hospitals at this time. So while we put that on hold, we've been raising money a different way and helping out in a different way.
But we still wanted to do something to help the community, and so this is the best thing that we saw that we could do. Just between us three, we could all cook meals and deliver them and try to help out.
Now we get to experience a whole new version of our charity by helping elderly and first responders, which we never really thought we would do.
So what is your nonprofit, or did you call it a club earlier? Or is that different than what we're talking about?
It's the same. It's just called Two Chicks Supper Club.
Okay. All right. But there's three of you.
Yeah, so I joined after they were the founders, and then Angie asked me to help out, so I've been helping make food for the hospitals or the fire station and everything.
So what was the need that you saw that you thought you could address?
We saw people like in our own community getting the virus. Even some people at our school got it. So we figured that we should help out with our community and even the elderly since they're most at risk. So we decided to like give them home cooked meals, and like people at the grocery store, we give them masks that we make, and we think that it would help our community since everyone's affected by it.
And then we also delivered to our first responders. So we delivered to our local police station and fire station to help them out because they're working for all of us, and it's nice to give back to them.
Explain to me what this looks like.
We help them by giving them something that they didn't think they would get, like homemade soup and homemade focaccia bread and homemade dessert. It's just like a nice treat since they're working extra hard through this.
And also for the elderly, we are also giving meals to old folks who can't really get out of the house to get food.
What does a delivery look like?
I'm in Modesto, and the two of them are in Stockton. So I run things more from the Modesto area, and I do that with my mom. And a few weeks ago, we did the elderly. That was my mom and I's project in Modesto. And what we would do is we packed up all of the meals in bags, and we'd put them on the doorstep and then ring the doorbell. And then we would go back to the car, so we wouldn't really be interacting too much with the elderly people. But so we call it a doorbell ditch.
Yeah, and we all like make different foods for like the doorbell ditch. Like I'll make carmelitas, which are like cookie bars, and then Angie makes soup, and Tessa will make focaccia, and then we just kind of like after we're finished making everything, we just bring all the food together, and then we'll wrap it and package it, and then we just go and deliver.
So why have you been doing this? What's I know there's a need, but why have you stepped up to meet this need?
It feels good to help other people out since like we're more fortunate. We get to go to like nice schools, have like nice things, but other people go through all this stuff. And especially now the coronavirus is like making people lose their jobs and like kind of struggling financially. So I feel like it feels like we really don't do anything anyways. We have to stay home. So it's nice to like help other people who are like struggling without their jobs now, and like the first responders who are really like working double and just helping others through this time.
I feel like we just like came up with using food like right now because it's like more comforting. Like a lot of people go to food for comfort.
I feel honestly that it's like everyone's duty to kind of help out whoever they can. And like Angie said, like we're so blessed to be able to go to good school. So we have a lot more than others. So I think it's kind of like our duty to help people that need it more than we do.
Well, I love what you guys are doing, and I think it's very creative. After dropping off the meals, any results that have come out of this?
They want us to come back. They keep asking us to come back.
And they're like super appreciative.
It's like they're really excited to kind of see, like look through the window and see us, and they like wave and smile, and you can just tell like that they look very happy. And some of them even like left notes on the door. Like this is a note that we got, which says, "Thanks, we're indeed grateful. God blessings. We'll keep you in our prayers. Heart, Mary, and Alan."
Again, thank you, ladies. I appreciate your time and your work.
Yeah,
your love
thank you for having us.
Those in the community. And I'll let you get back to your afternoon.
Man, that's awesome. I love it. Well, the ladies unfortunately couldn't join us, but I believe Karen, who's Tessa's mom, is here, so she might be able to answer some questions for us. Karen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me, or am I muted?
Nope, we can hear you.
Okay.
So we had a couple of questions. If you can answer them, great. If not, that's okay. So how do you choose, or how did the girls choose who gets services?
So what they did initially is they posted it on Nextdoor. So that is a community thing that it got posted on Nextdoor. Yeah. And then also the girls posted it just on their social media. And actually it kind of came out where like their friends would say, yes, I know this family or this, couple or my grandparents that need this. And so that's how we created that list.
That's great. That's awesome. So have you been able to, do you know if the girls have been able to get other teens involved?
Well, they're trying to, and one of the things that they have done is they posted it on their social media that they have challenged other teams to, to participate in this, and they challenge the other teams to do a video so that then they would post what the other teams have done. So they're trying to get that movement going.
It's like a social media dance-off, like, hey, what's up, kind of thing. That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah.
Hey, so I got a question from Courtney. Do you know if the girls have any needs where they could use donation or support?
Well, yeah. So what it originally started out is they were doing these supper clubs, pop-up supper clubs, to raise money to buy the materials and notions for the blankets. So that's kind of what they've done, is they are starting this fund, and they are going to go back to it once COVID is lifted, to buy the materials for the blankets that they're going to make for these children down in Fresno with cancer. So there is a need. Yeah, we do have a need. We are raising money. But the money is going to the blankets. It's not really going to the food. It's going to the blankets. So sure. We kind of got sidetracked into what we were originally doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, well, as the girls are doing their dance off, it looks like we're having a bit of a dance off in the chat group. So it looks like there's been a challenge put out through Doug. So what we'll do, we have your information, right, Karen? We can get in contact with you?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see what happens here, and we'll hopefully be able to be a blessing to those girls. Good. Nice job, guys, in the chat.
All right. Thank you. And sorry, the girls are still in bed. They do distance learning, and they don't have school till 9 this morning. So getting teenagers out of bed early, there's no way. It's impossible.
I hear you, girl. I got one at my house too. Same thing. I'm talking right next to her. She's probably like, "Oh, shut up, Dad." Oh. So, all right. Thanks, Karen, so much.
All right. Thank you.
We're excited for them. Hey, thanks everybody. Let's see. We're gonna go on to our next thing here. We're trying to get better and learn and grow here in what we're doing with Zoom meetings and just connecting with you guys. And Mike puts this all together. I'm impressed, Mike. Thank you so much for this. So for us, we'd love to hear some feedback from you. So on the screen here, hopefully in a second, you're going to get a phone number. And if you could text that phone number, it's 916-345-2520. We'll put it in the chat as well. And if you could text the letters CMN and give us some feedback. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what we can get better at, or even encourage us. We always love encouraging words. You could talk about how handsome Marvin looked in his video. But if you could encourage us or give us some feedback on how to get better at what we're doing, we would really appreciate that. So all that to be said, hey, thanks so much, guys. I'm going to hand it off to Marvin for some closing thoughts. Go ahead, Marvin. Marvin, you're on mute still.
Oh, all right. I just weaseled into a $100 donation. So good job, you guys. I am in. I'm in. You know, our topic this morning has been from crisis to creativity. And we've seen some examples of how our community has come together. We talked about social capital on purpose because it really is trust relationships, and the difference from why some communities bounce back and others don't is been the deep trust relationships that exist in a community. So many of us have been working, and you're in the room, have been working on building trust, giving each other the benefit of the doubt, not jumping to conclusions and inferring that somebody's got a bad attitude and a bad reason for doing something, but we've given each other the benefit of the doubt to go to each other and to have quiet conversations about what's going on, what were you thinking, respectful, civil conversations. And so we're paying off. Now we're in the middle of this all, so we're still working on a lot of things. Now I've been in quarantine. I've been sheltered in place for about 52 days. My team sent me home because my wife has an immune system that just needs support. But we've been asking ourselves, as well as authorities in our community, through Zoom calls, of course, or phone calls, some questions. And from the beginning, we realized that even though this was sad and it was a crisis and it was hard on families and people, and man, we are in the middle of that. We just had a granddaughter that we've not seen in 2 months, and it's not real good here in the Jacobo household. But we've been asking ourselves some questions, and we want to ask all of you these questions too. So how do we come out of this complex season stronger than when we entered it? How do we make change our friend and not our enemy? Why do similar looking communities respond differently to crisis? Why do some communities bounce back quickly and some never bounce back? And we've seen some great examples this morning of the creativity, the can-do spirit, the let's figure this out together mindset that all of us have got to take during these seasons. And I want to say, and you might know this already, but whether we like it or not, we're in a season to embrace change, to innovate, to absorb new perspectives, to respond quickly to opportunities and threats, to let go of strategies that no longer work in order to embrace new ones. And that's going to take some courage for some of us, because I'm going to tell you, and you might disagree with me in the chat room or not, the world that we're going to come back to the next months or so, it's not going to be the same for a while that you left a few months back. It's just going to be different. And so to embrace change and to quickly respond to the threats and the opportunities that are in front of us. Most problems have solutions. Imagination, perseverance, and openness to new ideas are going to uncover those new solutions. And so when crisis strikes, there's always a counter move, always a way through. A path is always there for those willing to look for it and then take it. There's an old Indian story about buffalo that I heard a few years back, that when there's a storm coming, the buffalo in the Great Plains never try to run from the storm. They turn and they head into it, because that's the shortest way through that storm. And so I'm hoping that you, all of us together, organizations, individually, we're turning toward the storm and we're heading toward it so we can get through this quicker and with some solutions that definitely are going to help my granddaughter, because I can tell you, having a 4-month-old surely gives me new perspective about how I'm going to make this world a better place to live in for her. She's only 4 months old, and she was born into a season, let's just put it that way. We've been trying to apply City Minister Network, Ryan Holiday's words, and he says this, he says, seen rightly, everything that happens is a chance to move forward if you're able to be objective, to control emotions and keep rock solid calm, steady our nerves, to choose to see the good in a situation. And I write choose, he says, because we can choose to see all the crap in a situation and the hardness of it all, but we got to choose to see the good in a situation, to create opportunities for growth, as some of the examples we've had this morning, to exercise patience, not only in this season, but with each other. I can tell you, this is just me. I'm so weary of easy solutions and people who just pop off and say dumb stuff that they just don't understand the complexity of a problem, and cheap answers. It just doesn't work. It's a complex season with complex challenges, and it takes us all to figure this out together, to embrace the present moment and to focus on what we can control, not what we can't control. Now, you do whatever you want, but I pretty much have done investing a lot of time in what's happening around the world and nationally when it comes to this situation, because I can't control those things. And I found myself being emotionally whacked over it. And so even though I am paying attention, I spend most of my energy about what's happening in our community, what's happening in my neighborhood, what's happening with the men and women I love, which is my community, because that's what I can control. So I've really had to shift because what's happening in Bangladesh or somewhere else is overwhelming, and it's sad and it's tragic. On the other hand, I'm in a season when I just can't do anything about those things, but I can do what I can here. As many are reporting, we're living through history, and it's up to us if we see the situation as a crisis or as an opportunity. Will we lose our emotions, or will you remain calm? Will we focus on playing the blame game? We've got government officials in the room this morning. Will we invest our best energy blaming and pointing fingers and accusing, or maybe even feeling sorry for ourselves, or invest our best energy on a constructive response? And again, constructive responses are coming, and maybe they're already here, but I know I want to invest in our City Minister Network too. We want to invest our best energy in constructive responses. And I ask each one of us in the room, and there's about 50 some of us, what will you do next? And how will you, as a leader of leaders, because all of us in this room are leaders of leaders and we are influencers. And What are you going to do to influence those people around you to see this as not a crisis, but a season for creativity and coming together, embracing change, ability to innovate, to absorb these new perspectives. And so I'm praying, just like many of you are, we want to come out of this season stronger than when we entered it. What does that look like? How does a people, an organization that come out of things stronger in seasons of storm stronger, what do those groups look like? What do they act like? How do they respond? And let's make change our friend, not our enemy. And the world has changed. We don't know how long it's going to be changed. We don't know what that's going to look like, but it's changed. And we want to make that change our friend rather than our enemy. And I want to encourage us all to rally together. Let's continue to stay together through our trust relationships, joining to quickly bounce back. And what I saw when I went to New Orleans after Katrina was neighbors who came together to share their gifts and abilities and talents, their resources with each other. Those in the neighborhoods that bounced back quickly. And those that were isolated, those that thought that they had the answer all to themselves or spent their best energy complaining about this or that, they were still in the weeds. And so I pray that we'd come bounce back together and figure that out together. Again, our mantra has been all this for our communities to be a great place to grow up in and to grow old in. And that's our hope for all of us. And it's a hope definitely for my 4-month-old granddaughter, who definitely is probably dying to see her grandfather and really enjoy the world. So I want to thank you. There's 2 resources that have been helpful to me over the last month, and maybe Mike can put those on the screen. I'm a book reader. So there's 2 books. One of them, first of all, is by Daniel P. Aldrich. It's Building Resistance. It's Social Capital in Post-Disaster Recovery. And it's a little heady. It's about how communities recover after tragedy. And the last one here is A Paradise Built in Hell, which uses 5 different situations from history and how those communities either bounced back or didn't bounce back. So that last, A Paradise Built in Hell is that last book. So it's those books have been very encouraging to me as we analyze how to move forward from here. So we love you. I'm going to give you back to Mike, and you can have it, Mike. There it is. So as we close here, I want to give you a couple of different takeaways. I want to encourage you, even though we're in the middle of Zoom calls, take some time to go ahead and schedule a time with somebody and just see how they're doing. I appreciated Doug Ridenauer and Linda, his wife, drove by my house a couple of days ago and just came by to honk. And, you know, we were 6 feet apart. He was in the car and I was on the sidewalk, but my wife and I just had a great time just smiling at each other and smiling at the Ridenauers. And so schedule a time with somebody just to see how they're doing. Or maybe somebody in the room here that you want to chase down. I'm going to chase down a couple of guys who are in the chat room right here, as soon as we're done here, just to see how they're doing and seek their wisdom. And then I'm going to encourage you, if it comes to your mind, to call somebody and and ask them what they're learning through this season, just like the question that we did not have the opportunity to talk with each other. But let's gain some wisdom through this time. Let's be reflective. My perspective, again, one of the things that we've not done well in our community through the years is stop to reflect. And so let's reflect and let's learn our lessons well. Crises are going to continue to happen, whether what they look like in our lives, who knows? But if we can learn and reflect from them, the next time we'll come out of them stronger. I want to encourage you. We're a nonprofit, just like others in the room. And so if there's a heart for you to give financially to City Ministry Network, we are a donor. We got to have donors. So if you want to partner with us financially, you can surely do that. And that's right there on your screen. So next month, we're going to continue this theme and we want to reflect and evaluate. So we're going to stop to ask ourselves the questions. What have we learned about our community from COVID-19? What are we learning about ourselves through this season? Maybe it's good, bad, or ugly. We'll have some interviews. We'll have some perspectives. But again, not a matter of pointing fingers, but a matter of stopping to reflect and to evaluate and to consider how have we done? What lessons have we learned? Where are the gaps that we need to fill? Whether it's with, Joe mentioned earlier, underserved communities, How do we do in communication? How have we done some whole different places? And so, again, I just made that up. Mike is in charge of the platform here. So we'll get a chance to see just how we learned. And some of you might definitely be a part of that. So I want to thank you all for being a part. I'm going to dismiss us in prayer because, again, knowing that, listen, we can be smart and we can be brilliant, which many of you are. But if we don't pray and seek the power of heaven, man, it's going to be to naught. So let me pray. Lord, we thank you for these men and women that have been in the room. I thank you for Love Our Neighbors, for Joe, City Ministry Network, and all the work that they've done with nonprofits and small groups, for the high school girls that have inspired us and inspired me to do those little things and to be creative, for their moms and their grandparents. I'm confident that they've been examples to these girls about what it means to be givers and philanthropists. But Lord, there are some in the room, I'm sure, that are just having a hard time and are going stir crazy or lonely or wherever that might be. I ask, Lord, that you would visit them today and encourage them. And Lord, through prayer, I challenge and encourage each one in the room that if there's somebody in the room here that just needs to be encouraged and their name comes to their mind, that they would send a text or a phone call to let them know that they were thinking of them. Lord, thanks that you're thinking of us. Give us wisdom to lead as we should. May we be like you mentioned in the Old Testament, the tribe of Issachar, one of Moses' sons, who it was described of them that they understood the times and knew that which they should do. And so, Lord, may each one of us in our circles of influence in this community understand our times and then know what we should do. In Christ's name, amen. Thanks, you guys.